All right, hey, good morning, guys. Today is, let's see here, May 13th, Wednesday, May 13th. We're right here. We have 2 pages on the schedule today. Nice and easy. As we finish this out, we're going to only have a couple pages each day to wrap it up, kind of thing. This also buys you guys a little bit more time next week on Monday, as I think I said already in previous videos. There is no assignment before it gets turned in. And so that gives you an extra day as well to catch up. First, I'm going to show you yesterday's. Here's yesterday's practice work, numbers 3 and 4. So you can check your answers real fast. Pause it, check your answers. Okay, perfect. Moving on. Let's go ahead and get going with today's lessons here. Okay, so we're looking at page 395 and 395, 396 today. Now, this is going to begin continuing to talk about these concepts. And so as we develop these concepts, we're going to be using some different ways of looking at it, but it's very similar still. So it says, mark and shade the number line below to show 2/5 of 1/2, okay? So what we have here is we have this number line. We're going to use this to show it. Now, it is one whole, but we only need to use the first half of it, right? Okay, and so because it's 2/5 of 1/2, so we have a half. So now we want to show 2/5 of this. So we want to break this in. The 2/5 is important, but the most important part is the fifths part. So we want to find fifths of a half, right? But if we do this, we want to make sure we find it for what it looks like for the whole entire thing, so we understand what those actual values are. So if we break this up into fifths here, it would be so I have to break this into fifths, so it would be 5 parts. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Those are not very even, but it's close enough, right? So if I just draw little boxes above this, for example, it would show that roughly 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 2 boxes are 2/5 out of the whole thing, right? Okay. But the problem is that we want to find out how much is this as our final answer, but it's got to be in relationship to the whole. Does that make sense? Because this is 2/5 of a half, but we want now we want to find out what 2/5 of a half is in relationship to a whole, because that's how our answers always are. Whenever we write an answer for anything, we write it in relationship to a whole. Well, if I broke this into fifths, I should break this into fifths as well, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this is into fifths. Now for the course of the whole here, because this is fifths of a half, this is fifths of a half. All together for the whole, though, how many parts do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's fifths here and fifths here together. We have now tenths, right? As far as in relationship to one whole, these are tenths, correct? At a half point, for example, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 tenths. 5 tenths is the same as 1/2, correct? Therefore, these two that are shaded here is 2, but the size of each one of them is 1/10 of the whole. Now they're fifths of a half, but they end up being tenths of a whole. So what fraction what fraction of the whole, right? That's why it's so important. Which fraction of the whole did we shade? We shaded into tenths, right? 2/10. Of course, we can always we simplified 2/10 to 1/5 as well, but for this, because of how it's lined up, we're going to say let's leave it as 2/10. It's fine. Okay. So complete the multiplication. Well, the multiplication here is going to be 2/10. Boom. Now, obviously, we can show that this is equal to 1/5 as well. Okay. Another thing you might look at is if you flip-flop these, Now, for this model, you're not going to want to flip-flop it, but for problem solving and thinking logically about this, if I have 2/5, I say 1/2 of 2/5. Well, what is half of 2/5? Well, what's half of 2? 1, right? So if I have 2/5, if I split that into 2 parts, right, because I cut it in half, I'm going to have 1/5 and 1/5. So therefore, more evidence why 1/5 is our answer. All right. Naturally, you can pause this and go back. I'm going to keep moving forward here. Number 2 says mark and shade the number line to show 3/4 of 1/3. Okay, so again, here we have 1/3. Okay, this is actually what we're showing 3/4 of this. But we're going to want to show it in relationship to the whole, as always. So 3/4 of 1/3. Okay, I'm going to break this into 4. So we're going to put 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. Right? So again, just using a bar because it's easier for me to show above the number line. So 1, 2, 3. Those 3 parts, 3/4 of 1/3. But again, in relationship here, it's 1, 2, 3. So 4 parts here, and 1, 2, 3, 4 parts here, right? Well, how many total parts are there? Well, if there are 4 parts here, 4 parts here, and 4 parts here, that means we now have 12 parts. So we're going to be dealing with 12ths, right? That means each one of these is going to be 1/12, right? So if I were to make this into a number line, this would be 1/12, this would be 2/12, this would be 3/12, this would be 4/12, but 4/12, as we know, is equal to, both of these are divisible by 4. This gets down to 1/3, right? So they're equivalent fractions. So just proving that it's right. So if we look at this, 3/4 of 1/3 is the same as 3/12, right? So an equation here would be 3/4 times 1/3, or 3/4 of 1/3 is equal to 3/12, right? Sweet. Now we can simplify this as well, can't we? Even though this is an answer and this is acceptable for the book says it's answer, we should always simplify. If we simplify this, each one, we can divide this by 3. Both of them are divisible by 3. So divide by 3, right? That gets us down to 1/4. Would be the best answer in my opinion. The book doesn't say that, but that's what I think. All right. Let's see here. Go on to the back side here. Okay. Now, so those ones we were using were the number lines. Now we're going to look at using a strategy of using an area model to make sense of it. And so we're using multiple strategies and showing you why it works. There are going to be shortcuts, but before we show the shortcuts, we're going to show why, so we understand why the shortcuts will work. And so even when we use the shortcuts, we'll know what is actually happening here, okay? So this says explain why the purple rectangle where the shading overlaps represents 1/2 of 1/3, then complete the product. Okay, well, let's break this down. If we look at this area model, we have length times width, right? So let's just say this is length, let's say this is width, right? Okay, so we have 1/2 times 1/3, length times width, right? But this whole entire top here, this whole top up here is actually going to be 1. This whole top on the side is going to be 1 as well. Does that make sense? Meaning from this point to this point is going to be 1. From this point to this point is going to be 1. So the area of the entire rectangle here, or square, is 1. The area of the whole thing is 1. So we're looking at parts less than wholes, right? So the idea is this is broken into thirds, right? So we only want 1/3. This part right here is 1/3. Okay. this part right here going horizontally here is 1/2. You see how there are two parts, and the pinkish, whatever color that is shaded in, is half of the horizontal parts, right? This is 1/2 of the two parts, right? One of two parts. This right here would be 1/3 or one of three vertical sections, right? Okay. Now when we put them together, look at them together, you see that this purple area here is the overlap, where they both overlap. That is showing that this is 1/2 of the 1/3. Again, this is 1/3, right? This is 1/3, and now it is cut in half. So of this section right here, this section right here is 1/3. Half of it is going to be this amount. Well, how much is this amount in relationship to the whole? Well, it's one part, isn't it? That is one, that shaded part is one part. It's one part. Out of how many parts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to be 1/6 is going to be our answer. Okay. Again, the overlap, when we do this, the overlapping part is going to be the part that's going to show the representative. So we could also look at this as 1/3 of a half, right? So of this half, 1/3 of it, okay, because we look at it this way, right? So this right here is the half, but then we cut the half into thirds, right? 1, 2, 3 into thirds. One of the three parts is this size, but that's value in relationship to the whole. Like we said, this was one total, one whole at the beginning, 1 by 1, right? So it would be 6, would be 1/6. Either way, it's 1/6. Okay. All right, you go ahead and write your answer, how you understand that. That's super important. So I want you to write that in there, how you understood that. Okay. Let's go and do number 4 then. Obviously, you should pause this while you write your answer up there. Okay. Okay. Now that you're back, you should unpause this now. Be with me here. Okay. It says shade the area to show 2/5 of 2/3. I actually want you to pause this again, try this on your own real fast, and give it a shot. Be thoughtful about how this is laid out. You know, the vertical and horizontal. Obviously, this is fifths going horizontally here. This is thirds going vertically, so you should consider that. Okay. So go ahead and pause this and give that a try. Okay. All right. So now that you're back, okay, let's go and break this down. I'm gonna use a different color. Let's see what colors I'm going to use. Let's use this in here. So we're showing 2/3. So because these are broken into thirds, I'm going to show 2/3, right? Yep. And then because these are fifths going this way, I'm going to do 2/5. I'm going to go 2/5. Okay. So the idea is I'm going to go. That's 2/5, right? Now we look at the other way. This is there's 2/3. So what are we looking at? We're looking at the areas that the amount that is overlapped or the amount that has the cross stitching, right? The two colors mix, the green and the pink areas together. Well, what areas is that? Different color here. That is going to be this box right here, isn't it? Okay. So this box right here is what shows the answer to this problem. Okay. So again, the overlapping area is how many boxes? There's 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes. So my answer is going to be 4 somethings. The next question is, well, what is the value of one of the boxes? Just one box, any of these boxes. This one doesn't matter right now. What is the value of one box? Okay, the value of this one box in relationship to the whole is going to be 1 what? Well, this is 1, 2, 3 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, 3 times 5 is 15. There are 15 boxes in this, so this is 1/15. Therefore, if there are 4 boxes, 1/15, 2/15, 3/15, 4/15. 4/15. So my question to you is, can we simplify that any further? Are 4 and 15 divisible by the same number? The answer is, we're in its simplest form. Okay, 15 can be divisible by 3 and 5. 4 cannot. So we're good. Okay. All right. Hopefully this is making more sense. Watch this video. It's a fairly short one, I think. Going through this, I want you to go ahead and just do these 2 problems on your own. That's it. Not a lot today, guys. Tomorrow we have 2 pages. Next week we have 2 pages. Okay. So good luck. I will not be on for math help today. I have to go down to the school for the last half of the day, and I have other meetings and stuff this morning. So I will not, unfortunately, not be able to be on this afternoon. I apologize, but it is what it is. And I'll be back on tomorrow on Thursday, though. Okay, talk to you guys later.